This podcast is proud to be part of the talkSPORT Fan Network. talkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with a save. To the second here. A classic counter-attack, and Gibbs White puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's one. 1-0 Forest. To the goal. Has made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Oh, hello and welcome to this edition of Red Side of the Trent as we come to you the day after Nottingham Forest very disappointing 3-0 defeat away at Everton. Delighted to be joined today by Reiss, Lane and Danny Tring. So Reiss, we'll start with you. Firstly, how is the Lemsip working? Are you feeling a little bit better now? Oh, you're mute. Good start.
Yeah, good start. Yeah, like us yesterday. That.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting there, mate. But yeah, still not quite right yet. But hopefully, it'll be right for Thursday evening. But apart from that, I'm okay. What about yourself?
Good stuff. Yeah, not too bad. What's it? Played 11 aside this morning. I had to play in goal, which is very unusual. But no, he said I got a clean sheet and an assist, so I'm already better than Matt Turner, is the way I see it. So we'll go with that. Danny, what about yourself? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good, thank you. Ready to go over the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Reiss, we'll start with yourself. We'll start with the team first and foremost. It was an unchanged team from the 1-0 victory over Wolverhampton Wanderers on Wednesday night. Were you a little bit surprised at that, or did you think it's a case of they've got the job done, they earn the right sort of play, sort of thing?
I was surprised in Doyle starting, I must say.
Yeah.
I thought Hudson-Odoi would probably come in for him. That aside, though, not really. I don't think there's much you could argue to change personally, So, Murillo, of course, wasn't back, so he's not going to come in. He's given Morato the chance to go again, but not much surprise, I'd say, personally, apart from the Ndoye one for me.
Okay. And Danny, obviously, game started. I mean, literally, it was ridiculous how quickly it all sort of happened. Within 20 seconds, Savona's been booked, taking for obviously a foul. He looked like, to be honest, Grealish handled the ball actually when he went down, but obviously that wasn't. Yeah, and then this is how we react from it, really, isn't it? And then very quickly the ball's in the back of the net. I mean, what was your sort of take on it all?
Well, it was just awful, wasn't it? We just went up for it from the first whistle, and that's took 1.5 minutes for us to be 1-0 down. Yeah. And it's one of them, you're a minute in, you've just got to defend it. And to be fair, we did defend it, we cleared it out of the area. Then what Undoy's done, we've been critical at times of players over the years. Within 1 minute to just beat that easy. But it just summed up him as a performance, and just lack of intent to even try and block the cross, to try and stop it. I mean, it was so easily done, wasn't it? I want like a bit of brilliant skill. It was the most obvious little dummy, then souls him, and there's not even intent to get back and get the ball, and then the ball comes in and it's poor. I know we all love Milenkovic, but it's poor. It's poor. If it's Willy Bolly, like we did against Swansea, we ridiculing him. It was poor. He's headed the ball into it, got under no pressure, really. Got to move his feet quicker. So, yeah, it's probably the worst start you can ask for. I mean, we were poor at the start against Brighton. We didn't get punished. This was exactly the same, but this time we have been punished with him 1.5 minutes. Then it's an uphill battle from there, isn't it, really? But in the actual looking at the goal, yeah, it's awful. There's a lot of points we could do a lot better at.
Yeah, no, you actually make a good point there, actually, in terms of how we've started games recently. Because, like you said there, the Brighton game, we very easily could have been 2-3-0 down with how they were cutting us open. They just couldn't get the final ball right. Obviously, this time we've basically thrown it in for them. But again, if you start, I think Deitch alluded to this as well in his presser, where he said that if you're not on it from the get-go, you get punished, and it's exactly what happens. But it's just it's just an avoidable goal. I think that's the thing that gets me. It's just like everything about it was just so avoidable. But Reiss, obviously, after that, eventually it wasn't a particularly good game. It very much, it's kind of weird because we sort of got sucked down into a fight. Like whenever we've played Everton before on a Dyche, we've always said like, don't go try and fighting them. There's no point. You know, you just try and play your game. But we did exactly that again, and we got outfought. It felt like, but you know, eventually, I guess we'll mention the flashpoint now with Tarkowski because obviously the club have complained about it to PGMOL. What's your sort of take on that? Because I thought that was it was naughty from Tarkowski. I don't think it warrants a red card, but it was naughty.
No, it is naughty. There's no doubt about that. No, it wasn't a red for me. That's why VAR have checked it. Obviously, nothing's come of it. You know, I guess the fourth official could involve. He's got a good view of it. Antic right by the touchline. Could maybe speak to the referee about getting him on a card because obviously Tarkowski later on does get booked. But there's no point in us complaining, mate. After that performance, it's just embarrassing, really, because we've stunk the gaff out and then we're complaining about, you know, something what's happened 2 minutes into the game after we've lost 3-0. You know, in my opinion, a side, you know, with a decent side would actually use that flashpoint as motivation and actually think, you know what, is that what you're going to do to one of our teammates? Is it right? That's the game you want to play. Let's get stuck in and let's get up for the fight. And it worked a treat for Tarkowski because we didn't want to know, did we? We didn't want to know all afternoon, and that's why they beat us. And to be honest, Everton weren't any great shakes yesterday, mate. They were pretty poor. It was a dreadful game of football again. Can't resent them winning the game because they took advantage of our mistakes. But now I'm looking there for us to use that as a bit of an injustice, really, and actually get us going. And we didn't, did we? We just kind of, you know, it's happened, and it's like, well, we'll just cruise through the game, really. We just never got going at all yesterday, unfortunately. We didn't Wednesday, but you can excuse Wednesday because we've come away with 3 points. Yesterday, we wouldn't have scored if we'd have played all night. Let's be honest.
No, it was bad. I mean, the thing is, what I will sort of say, there was a period. Sorry to give Danny, sorry to give you 2 goals. There was a period towards the end of the first half where I actually thought Forest were at it. There was a good 10-15 minute period just before the whistle, and you know, you could see they needed half time. Everton, like they were under pressure. We were putting them in awkward situations. Wasn't quite really testing Pickford, apart from that one Anderson shot that, you know, he sort of got down to. You expect him to save that, especially keeper Pickford card, but they're still actually testing position keeper. You're in a position to do so. And then literally with about 15 seconds left in the half, much like the Brighton game as well. I mean, I felt bad for it because obviously Hutchinson was one of the brightest sparks in the first half, but he's absolutely cost the team badly there for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, quick touch on the Anderson goal, the Anderson one. If I'm being hard critical, I'd like him to do better there. I mean, I know we all go on about that. He doesn't score enough goals, and people go, yeah, but that's not the type of player he is. If we tighten him out at £100 million, I want him to be doing better there. I know it's a half-decent save, but you see chances like that going. I mean, they had not scored a goal, and he's looked like that second goal is finished that well, hasn't he? I'd like to see him probably take them chances, but then going on to the goal, Hutchinson, it's one of them. Yeah, his cost does it. It's a mistake, but it was the only bright spark, and I'm not going to forgive him completely. No, it's poor. It's poor, especially right before the 46 minutes. It's poor. It's inexperience. It's everything he is. He's a young lad. He's inexperienced. But what I can say is before that, he was the only one that was really doing things where you was like, oh, at least he's having a go. So looking at it, if we're going to, in isolation this instant, it's poor. It is. It's inexperience. It's poor. If he's got under that much pressure, just get rid of it. But then after that, could we do better? Yeah, we could. But then, like we've spoke about many times in our group chat, you deal with the first incidents, and then you don't end up having to get the snowball effect of Morato could maybe bring someone down. Milenkovic is left free on one.
Yeah,
it's one of them. But yeah, it is harsh. But I do agree with you. I do think there were spells where we're like, yeah, we're on top of this game, and inconsistencies. And then touching on what Reiss said with the Undoy thing, just got no fight in him. It's like there were times yesterday where Milenkovic were rolling around on the floor. Like I'm like, what is happening here? Like, what are we doing? Why are we trying to? I felt like Wolves. I thought we was just trying to con free kicks by going down and making it a scrappy battle. And like I say, that's the last thing we needed to do. And I just didn't see that. I thought Undoy. I mean, one thing I will say, and I'm not one of them that's like when I played, I was always physical. I enjoyed the battle, that kind of thing. One thing I will say on the Tarkowski thing is it violent conduct? That's the only thing I will say. Do you know what I mean?
Probably
It's
by
like,
definition, it might be.
if you're going on
it's
definition, it's soft. I don't want to see a player sent
Yeah.
off for it, but is it violent conduct? Like what? Like if someone's not expecting it because he won, again, it took him by surprise. He almost got whiplash, didn't he? It's
his neck pinged back. Yeah.
If the ball's not in play and you're going up and you're just giving someone straight in the back, is that not violent conduct? For me, it's soft. Now I wouldn't give it a red card, but I'd like to know what the law is on violent conduct, because that's basically an off the ball incident where you just physically hitting someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, by that definition, it'd be interesting to have Leon here actually to sort of get his take on it, because I'm sure, but by definition, that probably is correct. I mean, I also take your point. I also thought it was no more than the yellow. Can VAR tell the referees to give a yellow card? I don't think they can. Because surely if they get involved, it's just like, it's either a huge decision, it's either like a game-changing one in a red or not. But no,
sorry. It's like, remember when Rodri got sent off for the thing on Gibbs White?
Yeah.
Is it more force in what he's done than what Gibbs White got off Rodri? Do you know what I mean? It's
fair point. Yeah,
I guess it's because he's probably not raised his hands, has he? He's just kind of whacked him in the back.
But I'm just on about force. I'm on about actual initial force.
No, there's a debate. No, it's well, I can't swear on here, but it's a CUNT-ish challenge.
Yeah.
It's very low.
That's
very low.
That's the injuring door there for nothing, really.
But like you say, it's soft, and like you say, we're clutching at straws, and to then complain is absolutely embarrassing. But then it's representing of the performance of the players was really, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, what I think this is where I started to sort of really get very frustrated. Reiss, was the changes at half time. I mean, Savona coming off on a yellow card, you can kind of give some leeway for, I suppose. Fine. Doy coming off again, that has to be done. He shouldn't have started the game, like you said. So he was crap against Wolves. Let's have it right. I've done this pod as well before many times. You cannot reward failure. You cannot do it. And I said this after when we lost 3-2. So we beat Southampton 3-2. Yates came on, basically had to Southampton's 12th person, got rewarded with a start against Bournemouth. We lost 5-0. Damage was done before he came off the field at half time. You can't do it at any level. You cannot do it. And I thought we did that yesterday with Doy. There was no reason for him to start the game. So him coming off, again, not a surprise, should never have started to begin with. The one that gets me, you're 2-0 down chasing a game, you bring on Ryan Yates Sangare, who was probably the only competent player we had in the field for the first half. At that point, you think, what are you doing? Why? How is Ryan Yates going to change the game in our favour? Why? I mean, what was your sort of thought process through that?
Yeah, I don't think we needed that sub, did we, at 2-0 down, because that's not Yates' kind of game, is it? We need to be getting at Everton, and Sangare is a more progressive midfielder. I mean, yeah, Hudson Odoi from Doy was obvious. I mean, like I said, I was surprised when Doy started. To be honest, man, I don't think whoever we brought on at half time would have done much or changed much, to be honest. I just thought as a collective yesterday, there's just too many. In fact, the whole team, mate, all of them, they just weren't at the races. I can't pick out anybody yesterday and say they've had a half decent game. And this is even your consistent players like your Andersons and your Nikos. Even they were below par yesterday. You know, I would have probably have said until the third goal was Matt Sells, because he actually kept us in the game with that save.
It's a good save.
From Ndiaye. And then third goal, he's completely flapped it from a corner. So I generally can't pick one player yesterday, mate, who I'd actually say, yeah, you can come off and hold your head high yesterday and you're given a performance, because I don't think any of them was anywhere near the level yesterday. Probably the only one I could maybe feel sorry for is Igor Jesus, because I always feel he runs himself into the ground and he's getting barely anything into. Let's be honest.
Just toiled, just ran and ran and ran. Got, he had that one header, didn't he? But that was it.
And then I'm just thinking, like, with 10 minutes to go, we're 3-0 down. We've got the likes of Kuna, McAtee, Callum Owendo on the bench. We just don't use his fifth sub. You may as well rest somebody. Just bring someone off and rest them for a quarter of an hour. Why run Jesus into the ground for another 15 minutes when he's clearly the only striker Dyche fancies? 3-0 down, just make the last change and give somebody a break. But yeah, it was just a difficult watch yesterday, wasn't it? To be honest, it was just really poor game of football.
Yeah, it wasn't one for the neutral by any stretch of the imagination. But I mean,
also,
I was going to say, Danny, just straight on to you. Going with sticking with Yates very quickly. Obviously, he's now got injured, so that move's even been even more disastrous.
Yeah, and do you know, we get tarred with the brush that we bash Yates and we love Sangari. I don't even think it's necessarily that on this occasion. It could have bought Sangari off, and it could have just dropped Gibbs White deeper and put McAtee in the 10.
Yeah, at least that would have been aggressive.
That makes sense. We've all seen it. We know that Gibbs White. We've seen it. We did it multiple times last year. Villa at home, the big occasion when it was absolutely awful. All of a sudden, we drop Gibbs White deeper, get a bit of pace on with Elanga, and we end up going on and win the game 2-1. Could have been 3-1. It's like we spoke on here. None of us have said about McAtee. It has been a bit of a stop-start. The best bit of football we've seen from him was Brighton.
Yes,
when he come on and he looked sharp, and even all of us was like, "Oh, he looked a lot." He's not been on pitch since.
Yeah, he's not played since. It's ridiculous.
And like you've said, Christian, you can't reward failure, yet we're punishing success. It's like Dominguez has been absolutely outstanding. We big fans of him. We know we are. We all think he's the most underrated player we've probably had. He did a job for him playing on the left against Liverpool. He was brilliant for 60. He was unbelievable. One of them games where, I'm fortunate to be at the game. It was a performance where when you're there, you're like, he's cut some channels out here. You might not necessarily see it on the telly, but the areas in which he covered, you're like, that's just stopped a pass, breaking the lines and bits and bobs. He's then gone at Brighton, and I think I read it was more effective as a winger than Undoy. I think he created more. Because I think he created the chance for Gibbs White. Was it where Gibbs White volleyed it? Right, it just missed the post.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So it's created more as a winger than Undoy, and then now he can't get on the pitch, and you're like, what? Where has this come from? Where he's now becoming, 3 minutes at Wolves, and let's be honest, if Yates don't get injured, does he even come on yesterday? We don't know. So I find it be very bizarre. I know, like we said, he's going to feature now because of the injury and Sangari going to AFCON, but how do you G up someone like that? Like, is a bloke who was in the last squad before he got injured for the World Champions at the World Cup, is now fifth choice centre mid behind Ryan Yates and Sangari, and obviously Douglas Luiz is injured. So it's like, how can you be like, oh, actually, mate, now I'm going to chuck you in? You got to have a bit of to and fro, and it's like with Hudson-Odoi. I know he wasn't great when he come on, but if the level that Undoy's been playing at's good enough to keep getting your starts, how do you? There's no shock that the performances have dropped in the last few weeks, because, like you say, if you're rewarding failure, that's the outcome. That's what you're going to get. That's why performances will drop, because it's took, like Hutchinson's had to play. We all wanted Hutchinson to start at Brighton. He's had to come on in that game and play well and roast their fullback for him to get a start at Wolves. And people were still questioning him at Wolves. And you're like, well, his output's should have been starting 2 games ago. And I get the argument, it's changing and winning team. But that's where your manager's got to earn the bread, isn't it? That's where it's easy out, isn't it? Oh, I can't change a winning team. That's why we've lost. It's like, well, no. Be on the front foot. If players are tired, pick players that are fit. Pick players that, like you say, like Reiss says, Just give Calimundo 15, 20 minutes. Igor Jesus rotated. Do you know what I mean? He got no joy from it. He's never going to get no joy from it because you're just going to hit it up to two of the most dominant aerialist centre-halves in the league. And I just can't. And like you say, then we're looking at the Yates injury. I mean, Christian, you said it yourself with Ange, like pinging hamstrings. How many we had under Deitch now?
It makes you wonder if he's doing too much fitness work, doesn't it?
It keeps going beasting him, and then you've got Gibbs White saying in interviews we've just ran and ran and ran. So now he's looking injured. You've got Yates, who's like a army tank, never gets injured. Is always his availability of something that even his biggest critics can't ever question. His availability is absolutely fantastic. Is always available. Yet now he's injured with a hamstring injury, which I know we had the stuff with we don't know what it was when he had them couple of seasons back, but I can't remember Yates ever having a muscle injury.
You're right.
So are they doing too much? Is there a reason they're not up to the level of fitness? And we've got to ease them in. Like you say with Murillo, he had a tweak on his hamstring against Malmo with no intensity at all. So something's happening. Yeah. So it's a question to be had.
Yeah, it's double-edged sword. On the one hand, you've got the players who very clearly weren't fit, and we saw that with our own eyes. I mean, obviously, me and Reiss regrets. You know, you're looking at Calimundo and McAtee going off after an hour of cramp, and you think, what have you been doing to your body for the last few months? You to go down in like I said, a lower intensity game, and you're cramping up and going off. That's not good enough. But the other end of the scale is this: that we're picking loads and loads of injuries now. You could argue, I mean, like you boys said in our chat yesterday, we were arguably 5 starters down now. Like Murillo's out, Louise is out. You know, you could maybe argue back. Obviously, he was starting right wing. Obviously, Hutchinson maybe potentially. You know, Wood's out. You know, and it's sort of like, how many of these injuries are avoidable? Like, I'm not a sports scientist, I couldn't tell you, but it does feel like, you know, we are in a situation now where maybe we are asking too much for them. This is we all knew this. We've said with this run that we've got coming up, 3 back-to-back 2-game weeks, you need to use your squads. Utilize the squad that we've amassed, that we've put together. That, you know, this is the whole point for building the squads in the first place. Like, so why aren't you using it properly? This is where again, like, Deitch, to be fair to him, has done a very good job so far. I'm trying to be positive and think that yesterday was a one-off. Looking at the results that we've had, it would suggest it probably is. But you know, that yesterday was bad management. There's another way around it. It was just really, really bad management. And Reiss, I mean, the third goal, I mean, I'll take one off Danny and give you the third goal. As you alluded to earlier, absolute mess, set piece again. And you can, you're right to sort of pick Sells out as well. He sort of just dangles a leg at it and he goes past him. But there's 2 or 3 Forest players in front of him who don't even bother to try and block it. They just leave it. Again, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, he punched it away, Sells, didn't he? Like it was like somebody who hadn't got a hand. You know, it just like it didn't go anywhere, did it? It just literally like little into the air. I think it dropped at Zach Abbott's feet. It was probably 2 yards away, and then it's obviously been scuffled clear. And then Dewsbury Hall, really, he's just like kind of fired that back into an area, hasn't it? It's gone all the way across and into the bottom corner. So, yeah, I mean that just summed the afternoon up, didn't it? Really, I mean, the last kick of the game was Hudson-Odoi's free kick, which he nearly put out of the ground. I mean, it just summed the game up, didn't it? It was, yeah, really poor. You can make no bones about it. It was poor from Sells. That was. He's got to, you know, he doesn't catch match Sells. So continental keepers do usually punch it more, don't they? Which is their style, which is fine. But you've got to be punching better than that. That punch was awful, and yeah, we got punished again for another mistake, unfortunately.
It's just so weird.
The reaction as well, wasn't it? The reaction from the players after the mistake. Like, Pickford's made a mistake. They've got bodies on the line defending it with all the life.
Yeah.
We made
someone on the post
makes a mistake. It doesn't even move. Like, no one moves. They don't even look like. It's almost like, oh yeah, we're going to concede here. Like, yeah, it's just not the fight's not there. It's just so strange, isn't it, to see the fight only 2 weeks ago at Liverpool, to see the fight. Like, there was no fight. Wolves, really? Did you see anything where he was like, oh yeah, they need to look up for it?
The thing is, like at Liverpool away, that they've not put a fight on us. You know what I mean? Brighton have. They went first 20 minutes and went toe to toe with us. You know, Wolves didn't do anything in terms of fight. We've gone to Everton today. Tarkowski said after 3 minutes, there you go, that's the level you're going to get physicality today. And we're like, I'm not sure we fancy that really. And, you know, the intensity, etc. It's just, it's just a really poor afternoon.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, we'll move on very quickly to your slept on it thoughts. But before we do that, just give a few shout outs to our sponsors. We got Trent Threads. If you look at the bottom left, obviously you got a lot of Forest sort of design specific clothing. They've got 10% off code of RSOTS with 2 T's. Then obviously we've got Vesta Blinds as well. If you want to get some blinds sorted as and around, big shout out to them too. And also to Arbel Delivery Service. I hear they're quite good recently. If you can allude to that, yeah. Thumbs up from him. All right, great stuff. Anyway, moving on from that, there's also a book out as well. If you want to buy that while we're plugging things randomly. But, before we move on, we'll move on to the Sonic Thoughts, and we'll get some bits and bobs sort of talking about as we hear what you have to say.
Red side of the Trent. Slept on it thoughts.
We on? Hang on. Okay. Hang on. Got the audio playing twice there. I don't know what happened there. But all the fun stuff, live things. Before we go on to the Twitter ones, we'll look at the ones that have come from on YouTube, because obviously I can see your comments coming through, but obviously it's very difficult to respond mid-conversation. Again, we'll start with DJ Tone saying manager bounces sadly ended. James Cunningham, where was it? There was one that I saw up here. Nottingham 21. We don't want you unsubscribing. It was all Everton fans kept warning us about Deitch. Maybe we'll listen to them. Everton just got at us from minute 1 a week cave. We don't look up to it because we are weak. Gordon's in there. He's going to Amsterdam on Wednesday if he wants to meet up. I'm sure someone will take up on that offer. But onto the Twitter one, Sammy Slack says, we've stopped playing football, just launching up top, expecting he to do something with zero folk around him. Poor. The bounce has gone and Deitch ball's in full effect. I hate being negative, but that performance doesn't warrant anything positive whatsoever. Shambles. Tom Newton says, seriously 2-0 down. Just play Callum Owendo. Take Jesus off and have a go. Play Callum Owendo off Jesus and have a go. We were so predictable. Sangara and Anson on the toes of centre halves. Jesus completely isolated. Gibbs White non-existent. Awful performance. Left with 15 to go. That's unheard of for me. Well below par. Only Hutchinson and Williams look remotely interested. Capability of function said 12 months ago, a disciplined, organised, efficient Forest to face a bad Everton team and beat them well. Barring injuries, the wave from the summer storm are still crashing over this squad and management team. This squad is still behind in preparation, stamina, and it shows. Jeff Rose says the tone was set when Savona was booked for bringing down Grealish in the first 30 seconds. The rest isn't worth talking about. Horrific performance. We've been off it since the Malmo game. 3-0 flat at them, but they took the absolute mick out of us for how bad we were. Long day. Yes, Lovey says more injuries. No clear indication of when anyone that is injured is going to be available again. No one can make a simple pass. We look like we're stuck in a mud and can't run or control the ball. Absolutely abysmal. Major relegation fight on our hands. Rob says the type of performance is a team that's going to be in a relegation battle all season. Lucky to beat Wolves on Wednesday. We don't create. We don't score goals. We give away goals nearly every game. To lose to Moyes team 3-0, we have big problems. Mark Baker says the biggest problem we have is that we're ditched the early football we were playing and reverted to usual Deitch ball, constantly lumping aimless balls to a short striker who wanted everything to feet and totally bypassing the midfield. We need to revert back quickly. Martin Fretwell says, awful, absolutely awful attempts at football. Only one way we're going down if this carries on. Most interesting I've seen us play even worse than the Bournemouth game. And last but not least, Ian just puts abysmal, which sums it up, really. I'm not going to go into player performances because, as we've touched upon, there was no one worth holding a candle to. But in the wider scheme of things, I mean, obviously a lot of things being said there. I saw someone say in the comments as well that, you know, look at Leeds getting a 3-3 draw against Liverpool. They showed more fight than we have. I do kind of push back on that. You know, it's worth noting that we literally beat Leeds a few weeks ago, having gone a goal down that game as well. So there is clearly fight in the team. My issue
to be honest as well, Liverpool gifted Leeds a route back into that game.
Yeah,
they were 2-0 down, absolutely cruising Liverpool, and then Konate decided to do one of the most ridiculous slide tackles I've ever seen. and allowed them back into it. And even still then, they went 3-2 down against the Liverpool side who are in disarray. So, yeah.
I'm not too...
Let's not start making Leeds out to be Luton again.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
We know they're not. But what concerns me is I've noticed this as well. I know, obviously, juggling 2 games a week is difficult, but I am starting to see now a slight pattern in that I actually think that after a midweek game, Forest are quite poor. The Bournemouth game, for example, we looked really bad in that. Brighton, obviously, we started terribly in that, and obviously we ended up losing the game. Yesterday was just a joke in terms of performance levels. All of these have come after midweek games. I know, obviously, we beat Leeds, but again, it's worth noting we went behind in that game as well. So it begs the question: what's going on? Is this a case of are we using the team properly? Are we using the players we've got correctly? What is causing this sort of slump almost? Reiss, I'll start with you first.
Well, we have got to be fair to Forest in the sense that we are missing a lot of players still. We've just named there we're missing a starting right back, which, Savona's come in for me and done okay. Abbott, the small minutes I've seen him's done okay, but they're not Ola Aina. They're nowhere near Ola Aina levels. They've done okay. They've done a job, like what you used to say when you were struggling in champ. You know what I mean? Yeah, they've come in and done a job. Ola Aina is one of the best right back in the league, so that's a massive miss. Murillo is a centre back who's one of the best footballers at the club. So you take him out the side, and that's such a massive blow. Because he's your man to play it out from the back. He's comfortable playing it out from the back at his feet. He can ping it 60 yards from flank to flank. He can play it into midfield. You know what? We see these whip balls. He plays wide. So that's a massive miss there. Nico Williams, bless him, has just had no break at all, pretty much as he's been playing. I know he had a break in Malmo was one game, but even then he still had to come on for Murillo because his hamstring had tightened up. Because we've got no left back cover because Zinchenko's injured. We're missing Douglas Luiz would probably be starting, I think, if he was fully fit. Chris Wood, 20 goals last season, as much as fans have complained about him at time, taking that out your side, a massive miss. And you also, the only other winger you can rotate in the Europa League has been unavailable because Hutchinson's not been in the squad. So it's been, I don't think the injuries can afford not to be mentioned because as well as some of the quality of the players. And it's got to a point where it's quite sad again that we're going into a third European away day. And for the second consecutive one, we're thinking we could actually do without this, couldn't we, really, Thursday night? And it's going to be a rotated squad on Thursday again. But you're still going to have to use some of the players who played a lot because you don't want to go to Utrecht and basically just toss it off completely. You still got to show respect and that to the competition, and we still want to, do well in this competition. And I know, we've had a bit of a setback yesterday, but we still want to do, are we at the back to the point again where we're thinking about chucking Europa League off again? Is that what we're back to, really?
I don't think we're back to that point.
Because I think some fans will probably say we are, which is a shame in itself. But it's going to be another rotated outfit on Thursday. You're probably going to get a similar style of performance to Graz, mate, to be honest, where it's pretty lumbersome, isn't it? Because Utrecht aren't any great shakes themselves.
No.
The form at the minute's not very good. They drew today against FC Twente in the Eredivisie. I think they've only got 1 point so far in the Europa League, so they're not any great shakes themselves. So yeah. And then also as well with the pre-season, I've had the change of styles, the lack of fitness we're saying. It's been a disaster, hasn't it, really? Let's be honest, it's been a disaster. And this is probably why we're having these injuries and why we're having these issues, because we're still probably catching up from pre-season. We've said it before with players like who've missed pre-seasons. Carvalho springs to mind when he got done in by the Alfreton play that time. He missed pre-season. He never recovered and he ended up out on loan at Girona. Because pre-season is massive for players. We've seen it for Tyro last couple of years who's missed pre-seasons. It's not been able to get him up to speed. So you're always playing catch-up. And that's what Forest are doing, is they're playing catch-up all the time. And unfortunately, when you're in the intensity of the Premier League and the Europa League as well for some games, because of the intensity levels, especially the Prem, you're going to pick up these injuries. So, unfortunately, we're just playing catch-up still. And when it gets to January, really, the club needs to sort the squad out and see the players. Because if the likes of Callum Mwenda and McAtee aren't going to play Kuna at all, get them out on loan, because it's no good in them being sat on the bench, and get some players in who Dyche is going to play, because we need to utilise the squad across the board. So it's a shame we can't play Kuna on Thursday, for example.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, at least McAtee and Callum Mwenda can play, but yeah, we're just playing catch up, mate. I think that's the issue, and that's probably why you're seeing this leveler. Yeah, probably, I don't know if you say, a bit of legginess, whatever you want to call it, really.
Danny, what about yourself? Anything to add? Also, if it were up to you, Danny, would you like us to see I can't believe I'm even asked this question. Would you like us to sign more players in January, given what the current situation is?
First, I'll touch on the players. For me, Reiss mentioned it in the chat. I think they're getting off of quite lightly, certain players. I mean, you've got. I mean, it's like Murillo goes out the side and we absolutely go to pot. And it is as simple as that. It's like our worst form this season under Ange. Murillo wasn't available. We've played 3 games now in the Premier League without him: Brighton, Wolves, and Everton, and it's been dross. And it's the thing is, what Murillo does, he shows no respect to anyone. We've seen it when he played against in his nutmegs in Mo Salah when Liverpool at Anfield in his first season. He shows zero respect, and his intensity is there. I mean, I resort back to when he got injured against Arsenal. It was a one-man machine for 40 minutes. He just didn't want that. He didn't want him to concede. And it's like no one else shows that intensity when he's not there. You've got Gibbs White, Anderson, who we all tighten about, always absolutely brilliant. They got absolutely bullied yesterday by Joe Garner and not Joe. Yeah, Joe Garner. James Garner.
The old striker from the Davis days. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Joe Garner and Dewsbury Hall. They were laughing. There was that incident in the second half. Dewsbury Hall's laughing at him. He's like saying, like, this is hilarious. Then he goes and scores. And just Milenkovic, we've still got leaders out there, and there's no excuse for certain performances when you look at Ndoye, he's a Swiss international. You know what I mean? They've got something about, and that's why I give Hutchinson a bit of leeway. He's a 21-year-old kid, like, who's almost trying to, at the minute, taking the weight of the shoulders to be the only creative spark we've got. So, and then with the injuries, Brighton, I mean, most of the starting 11 in that game didn't play in the midweek, did they? There was a lot of players that were rested for that game. So they like the intensity. I think, was Anderson rested against Malmo?
He was. He came on, didn't he? Weirdly.
Yeah, Anderson were rested. Ndoye were rested. And then, so, yeah, we do need to start using the squad more. Like we touched on with yesterday, we could have just dropped Gibbs White deeper, get him on the ball a bit more, put McAtee in there, give him 45 minutes. Callum Mwenda, like you say, Igor Jesus, is he going to play Thursday? I imagine he will. I know he's going to. I think he will, because that's just what we're getting under Dyche.
Callum Mwenda's got to play Thursday.
Got to play Callum Mwenda Thursday.
Yeah. I agree. But what I'm saying is, will he play Thursday? Are you 100% certain he's going to play Thursday? Because I'm not.
This is another one you mentioned earlier, Danny. About, I can't remember what the term you used about players showing a good side to him. Callum Mwenda scored against Malmo.
I know.
And then what's he had since? He come off the bench, 5 minutes Brighton?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's all right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all right, like you're saying. Yeah, the squad we've not, but he's not utilised it well enough. He hasn't. Like, I mean, Cunha. We're all talking about
not fancy these players.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're all talking about Cunha. There's people saying he should start again ahead of Morato. Yeah, let's be right. He's behind Zach Abbott, who I don't want to be too harsh on the lad because he's a young lad. He's probably League One. Like, he needs a loan move. He's probably League One. Like, at the minute, he's only a kid. That doesn't mean he'll not be able to make it. But he quite clearly doesn't. He's not got that aura about him as a 19-year-old where you're watching him and thinking this lad's going all the way to the top. You're not. You're watching him and you're thinking he needs to go and learn his trade, and he probably needs to go and learn his. I mean, that Tyler Bindon everyone spoke about, thought he was the next coming Murillo. Can't even go a game at Sheffield United. I watched him start the season. He struggled. Because it's a step up. So he does need to go and learn his trade. But Cunha, who's come from a team, like you say, which is quite an intense league, into the Brazilian league, we know it's quite physical. He's also played in that tournament at the Club World Cup. So he's played in a semi-competitive kind of event. I know it's a bit more like a friendly exhibition kind of thing, but you're still playing against good talent.
Okay, you see against PSG, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, so you're still, and we've seen bits of him. And I'm not saying I think it's one of them. We don't know how good he is. We're all saying it is because he's not being played. He might come and he might be absolutely awful when he's playing. We don't know, but he could have been played. That's the thing. We said it. Hutchinson, when we was all like, get him some minutes. He can't play Thursday night, and it was never picked for the game on the weekend. And you're like, well, what's going off? Like, why are we playing, like, flogging them when there is the squad there? It's like, you look at Willie Bolly's in the squad. Is he going to play another game for Forest?
No.
Do you know what I mean? He's not going to play another game for Forest.
Not unless we draw an absolute fodder in the FA Cup. You're talking like League Two level side below, aren't you? Because we went to Exeter last year and you were terrible there. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You say that, but then you want to see probably Abbott and Cunha in that game, don't you?
Mm. Yeah,
it's like, so you've got Bolly in the squad who's not going to feature. Like Reiss said, Callum Owendo's probably going to go. McAtee's probably not going to play much because we're playing players injured now.
Oh, yeah. Gibbs White. I mean,
Gibbs White's injured.
I could not believe. I mean, you could clearly see it as well. Like, his mobility is not there. Like, yes, I mean,
no.
He's turning like a bloody cement truck. It's like, I'm not surprised. If he's got a back injury, why is he playing anyway? And again, this ties into what we were saying earlier. Like you said about McAtee looking very bright. It comes against Brighton. Imagine what he's thinking now. Thinking, look, I'm fully fit. I've shown you what I've had a pretty promising couple of cameos. Whatever else, you're playing someone injured ahead of me. Like, it doesn't.
Unless something drastically changes, he'll be going on loan as well in January.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's not playing.
And then who's coming?
Then you're left with again.
Yeah, then who are we going to sign that's going to transform our season? Like, let's be right. Who are we going to go and get at? Like,
and you've got to think as well. We're not going to be spending much money, are we? Because we spent it.
No.
Callum Owendo and McAtee aren't going to get sold in January. They're going to be going out on loan because they've only just joined us.
And do we back us to go and find better replacements for them? Like, who are we going to go and... Do you know what I mean? Who are we going to go and get? Like,
this is why I think these players will stay.
Dwight McNeil.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, what I will say is... Sorry, go on.
No, like you say, it's just... But it's not all doom and gloom, I know, but we're only judging the game yesterday and the recent pattern. Luckily... It's like you say, it's not been that bad, and he's got the results up to this point, which has given us a bit of leeway, hasn't it? And I've just got, and I know it's as easy as to say, but I mean I'm the biggest Murillo fan in the world. Reiss loves him. It is that bad when he don't play. It is like we are that, which I can't believe. I mean, there was fans saying, "Oh, we'll be all right with him at start of the season if he goes. I'd rather lose him." It's like it's transformational to everything. Because it can break through a defence. It can ping. It's not just pinging 60-yard balls to like areas. It's pinging them to feet. It's like it's a revelation. We're going to miss him. Players. We're not the only club. Van Dijk, if Liverpool have lost Van Dijk, they struggle. Look what's happened when Rodgers got injured at Man City. That's what he is to us. He is.
Well, look at Gabriel at Arsenal, for example. The entire organisation's falling apart about him. Yeah. Half the team.
He is that good. He is that good. It's like I've said. We tipped him to play for Real Madrid when we were playing at the side of Joe Worrell. You know what I mean? He was playing at the side of Joe Worrell, and we always like he's going to play for Real Madrid, and that's facts.
No,
that's
you're
facts.
right. Yeah, it's just funny.
That's facts. That's who he was playing with. Jack Cole back in midfield, and he were playing he's playing with them type of players, and we was all like, this lad's going to go to the top. Now look, he's playing with £100 million midfielders and players like Gibbs White, could have been got sold for 60 million. International players he's come out the side, and we're still like, God, how good is he? He's going to be a big miss. So hopefully he gets back sooner rather than later. But if he's got Reiss's bug, he might be out for a bit.
Oh, he'll be right. He'll be there for Spurs, I'm sure. I mean, this is the thing. You make a very good point now. I was going to actually touch on this. I do feel it was more the nature of the defeat yesterday, I think, which really rankled me because it was just we were just abject, absolutely abject. But in the grand scheme of things, it's only our second loss in our last 8 games, which is considering where we were, there is still obviously some turnaround. I think it's just frustrating because we know how much better we are than that, and we didn't show it yesterday. You do that, you get beat. That's what happens.
Yeah. That's it. And I think any reasonable fan in the Premier League for a club like us knows there's going to be weeks you're going to get beat in football. That's just the nature of the league. You're going to come up against sides who on the day sometimes are better than you. But yeah, it's just a lack of kind of intensity in the effort. My go-to for this is always that first season Tottenham at home when we lost 2-0. Yes. When we did everything but score. And we lost 2-0 because they had Harry Kane up front, £100 million striker, who was just that different level of quality, and he won in the game. And you're thinking at the end, I can't not clap him off for that because they've given everything. You know what I mean? If you see a side what gives everything out there and they're beating on the day by a bit of better quality, you have to put your hands up. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Last Sunday, I didn't think we played too badly last Sunday. First 20 minutes, we couldn't get near Brighton. But after that, we were competitive in the game until the 88th minute. So for nearly 70 minutes, we were competitive against a side who were challenging for the Champions League spots at the minute. And also didn't have a midweek game as well. So Dyche's come in and done, he's done what we expect. He steadied the ship, got some points on the board in the Premier League and in Europe. I said when he come in that obviously when we get to halfway, which is in 4 games' time now, if we're on 20 points, gets us halfway to that magic 40. Well, we're 4 points off that. So we need 4 points from 4 games, winning a draw from the next 4 to get us to, 5 points off that. I apologise. So a win, 2 wins gets us out of the next 4, and we're halfway to making sure, we're at that magic 40 total, because that's what we've got to look at the minute. There's no point in, I said this on Wednesday night, running before we can walk in. It's about making sure, we're not in any relegation danger come end of the season where we're scrapping like we was the first 2 seasons, really.
Yeah.
So, Tottenham are very hit and miss. So at home next Sunday, you never know, do you? It's just a shame that they're not travelling midweek and they've got Slavia Prague at home, which you can ask for probably easier game in Europe, really.
Yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams are probably heavily rotate the 11s. I think Forest and
the positive is for us is we're not travelling as well in the sense that Utrecht is only
it's an hour flight. It's not
hour flight. Yeah. It's like doing in a Premier League away game, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's not.
Whereas if you're going to Seville, it's 2.5 hours. You're going to Graz, it's 2.5 hours. Whereas Utrecht, you're literally you're up and you're down, aren't you, with Holland? So that is a positive as well, I guess.
Just hope they're not stopping night in Amsterdam.
Yeah,
never know. It might have to play better.
It might do, yeah.
But you're right. It's like you say, it's like with the Brighton one. I don't think many people was dead disappointed because it was one of them games. You're watching Brighton, they're popping it round on first touch. You're thinking they're playing well. Whereas I think with Everton yesterday, they didn't really play that well. They beat us 3-0.
No, they didn't have to beat us. They're a good team, but they didn't have to really flex to beat Forest. I think that's the frustrating part.
And I think that's like when we're saying it was a 3-0 game.
Yeah,
it wasn't. It wasn't. But
and it's like with Liverpool, when we beat Liverpool, we were good. And I imagine, and Liverpool weren't awful, we was just good. And I imagine Liverpool fans would have come out from that and thought, they want misplacing passes and dribbling ball out. They're just the intensity was there, we was there. Whereas like the Brighton game was similar. They was just, we couldn't get near them because they was that good. Everything was on the first touch. The pattern of play, they knew exactly what they're doing with the shape. They were popping it to right, inside, rolling. Striker would turn in, or winger would turn him into, and they were in on. So it's almost unplayable, which we all really noticed, didn't we? Then all you want us to do is get back in the game, which we did. And whereas yesterday it was just a team, it was a bad performance. They weren't great, and you weren't watching it. I mean, Dewsbury Hall and Garner were brilliant, but it were only like workmanlike performances. It wasn't like watching like
it was just very effective.
Yeah,
and fair play. It obviously came out your run.
So there was brilliant. Definitely warranted the 3 points, but it's like you say, it was more the performance, but hopefully we'll be absolutely sound. Like I say, we could just do a lot of rotation.
Yeah.
On
Thursday,
yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Move on to.
Hopefully, Back will be back.
Yeah, I'm sure Back will probably play. To be honest, we started.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an hour. Then he's again more than anything else. It's winger rotation because obviously while he persists with this door experiment, which hopefully won't last much longer, at least you've got another option there, sort of from the right wing.
But you may as well play Ndoye though Thursday.
Yeah, you may as well do. I play Hudson-Odoi and Hutchinson against Spurs, so I played Doyle on Thursday because there's no point like him staying fit for a game that you won't be playing in. So, but moving on to some more positive. Moving on to some more positive bits and bobs. FA Cup draw tomorrow, I believe, for the third rounds. Obviously, Medical Cup and all that. Obviously, we had a good run of it last year. Obviously, got semi-finals. Very unfortunate to sort of go out as we did. Anyone you want to sort of kickstart the campaign? Reiss, to start with you.
Yeah, any new ground would be nice.
Yes, I'm the same boat. Yeah,
I'm just looking at the teams yesterday. I mean, Western-super-Mare probably won't get a ticket for that. It'd probably be a 500 if that. Cheltenham would be one. Fleetwood, done Grimsby, done MK, done Barnsley, done Port Vale. Cambridge would be another. Swindon, not been to. Done Shrewsbury, done Doncaster. So yeah, Swindon, Cambridge, Fleetwood, any of them type of sides would be decent. Or you'd like obviously a really low ranked side at home, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah.
The team like Luton like last year. Yeah, where we kind of just breezed through, didn't we? Personally.
What about you, Danny? Anyone caught your eye or?
Yeah, no, I'm same. Anyone who's got the quality of something like Malmo, we can go. Literally zero intensity in the game. It's like a training exercise and just gets minutes in legs because we don't need to be going. One, we don't need to be going into a game where it's going to be like you say. The professionals, they want to go and win. We don't want to like Coventry or something like that where it's going to be a battle.
Awkward.
Awkward.
Basically, as rivals down the road.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Or Derby, or Leicester, or like we just don't want anything. Almost like a game with zero purpose, if you know what I mean. And we just don't need to be in 120 minutes, do we? That's another thing. Yeah. It's like, which is the massive thing now. It's like we know they killed us last year. We all seen it. It was like Exeter. Was it Ipswich? Who else did we have to go 120 minutes with? Ipswich.
Ipswich was. Exeter was. Brighton was.
Yeah.
Everyone was, apart from Luton.
Yeah. So no, and like you say, it's sad. It is sad because like we've all touched on it. It's still the FA Cup. But that's almost now a hindrance, isn't it? It's like which is sad. It's like but we're just that desperate to stay in the Premier League. We're at this point where, like you say, if we was in mid-table, you'd probably be happy to take Derby or something just to get a bit of spice in it. But
and if everyone were fully fit, like
but
you could
it is like you say. Yeah, exactly. We've got 6-7 players that potentially would be playing, haven't we? Regardless whether they're starters or not, you've got 6-7 injured players who, because I know we're not fans of Zinchenko, but he's a body, isn't he? Is a player who'd be playing. It's
he might play White Thursday. To be fair, you never know.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be ready enough. It sounded to me like the only one who's going to be ready for Thursday's Backware.
Yeah.
Is what I got. We don't. This is what I mean. Forest, you don't really like. I always look at other clubs. Forest in general, not just Dyche. It's been like this for years. I always look at other for FPL purposes teams injury news, and you get a conclusive paragraph of kind of what's going on. Whereas Forest, it's like, we'll see how they are next week. We'll see how they are next week, but they're getting a bit closer. And it's like, wow, like what is Chris Wood's actual injury, for example? None of us know.
Why don't they ask?
This is what I mean.
It would be nice. We've
not really got a club journalist, have we? Like, I'd say supposedly the bigger clubs have, I guess.
Paul Taylor.
And then like obviously Colin's like he's like your favourite uncle, and he's not going to ask any awkward questions. Like yesterday, for example, when we're starting games slow, a journalist would say, well, why is that, Sean? Why are we starting games slow? You know what I mean? As kind of a comeback. So there clearly must be a reason for it.
Well, yeah.
So, but we're just at the club's beck and call, aren't we, for injuries, really?
Yeah, which isn't ideal. One more thing, obviously, again, a slight positive. The City Ground redevelopment plans seem to have ramped up quite a lot. There was an exhibition held at the City Ground itself on, I believe, Friday and Saturday. I think those who probably went to that instead of watching, finding a stream for the other game, probably did themselves a service. But the plans look pretty grand, it's fair to say, with plans to turn into a 45,000 initially, then up to 52,000 potentially. And that's without touching the Bridgeford stand either, which is quite surprising too, because obviously that there's still, I'm guessing, the tenant of the house is behind the back of the thing. So at least our season tickets will say cheap, Reiss, if nothing else. But yeah, what did you make
of the seats? The
peasant seats, yeah. What did you make of the plans first and foremost, and yeah, how are you sort of feeling about it? I know it's been a very long road even to this point again. But it does sound as the club are fairly confident of a speedier resolution, especially now the flats aren't being included in the next stage of development. So
you have to admire the ambition, mate, because they're very ambitious plans. You can't. I mean, a cynic would say too over ambitious. You know what I mean? Looking at them, and obviously the capacity, what they want to go to. I think most fans would probably say that Forest would be okay with a 40,000 stadium. Personally, I know there's always this talk about the waiting list, but you know, the cynic in me says how many on that waiting list are just Man U, Liverpool fans from Nottingham who just think, I can get a season ticket there. But no, you can't fault the ambition of the club. We need some modern facilities. I said that for a long time. So yeah, we'll have to see. Obviously, with the magnitude of the plans, I'm sure there'll be opposition to it again. Before, you know, and obviously it'll get kicked down the road a bit, but you know, it does sound good, like everyone's kind of on board to getting all these plans approved, because, you know, politicians should improve all the travel routes and that around the city and all that crap. That's something they should be doing, the government. But when a private backer does it, well, when then they're like, oh, actually, you'll pay for that. So he gets his like new shiny stadium. So yeah, we'll have a bit of that, such as how politics works. So they'll probably be all on board because they're getting their payday out of it. So yeah, let's hope it starts happening sooner than later. Because like I said, we need some modern facilities. The ground's outdated, and we get to stay where, you know, we all want to stay on Trent side.
Mm-hmm. Danny, what about yourself?
Yeah, everything Reiss said, really. One thing I will say is regarding the attendance, yeah, it's been a bit flat this year, but the football's not been great, has it? I mean, the situation, I think if the thing, what I will say is you've got Marinakis who he believes that, I will honestly think he believes that he'll win the league with Forest and win the Champions League with Forest. I think if he's got that belief, and so try telling him, oh, you're not going to fill 45,000 stadium. He'll say, we will do when we win Premier League and we will do when I win Champions League. Like, and I'm not going to knock that. I'm not. Like, that's what more do we want as a football fan? Like, we want our owner whose ambitions are bigger than ours, don't we? Let's be right. We do. And we all said it. We've said it before when he said we'll play Europe. Everyone were laughing at him. We in Europe now. It's like, it is one of them. So, anything like not going to Toten's always a bonus, isn't it? Like, we wanted to be on the banks of the Trent. We'll be there. The ground looks like fantastic. The pictures that you see, and it's the way it's going, isn't it? It's dated football grounds. They're going out, aren't they? You've got Arsenal new stadium, Liverpool fancy new stand. I mean, Man U gets nothing but hammered, doesn't it, for being an absolute wreck? Yet it's one of the biggest grounds in the country. Everton, I mean, I didn't go to yesterday, but I've got good reviews on the ground. They said it was nice. Then you've got Tottenham £1 billion stadium that everyone goes on about. It is the way it's going. So if he's got that ambition to do it, like Reiss says, he's going to pay for it all. Who are we to snuff at what his ideas are? It is what it is. Obviously, the prices might be an issue when it comes to it, but I'm not going to jump the gun and say, oh yeah, they're going to rip us off until we see it. Because it's like you say, what's the point? Why put a dampener on something that we don't know, that we probably think it'll be expensive, but it might not be. So no, I'm absolute. I'm just glad we're stopping where we're stopping. At the minute, yeah, we'd struggle to fill it. If he thinks that he's going to get us into to win Premier League and win Champions League, I'd be confident of us filling a 45,000 seat stadium. It's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
It sums it up, doesn't it? That Malmo spent 30 years away from it and they've come to the exact same ground with literally no improvements apart from a lick of paint.
Exactly.
From UEFA Cup to Europa League, it's the exact same stadium in 30 years. And
It's
some
like
people say
yeah.
Wembley's facilities are a little bit off the times. And what was that built? 2006 Wembley, I think, opened.
2006-7, yeah.
Yeah, and
also,
some people
it's
obviously
logistics,
say with like getting to the stadium and that.
It's logistics, isn't it? It's they thinking like, oh, it might. You don't know what the increase of cost is to make it bigger. It might be minimal. Do you know what I mean? It might cost as much to turn the ground into a 35,000, 40,000 seater as it might to a 45,000. It might, the discrepancies might be minimal.
Yeah.
So no, it's anyone who's willing to invest into a football club, like you say, where it's been stale for so many years, I'm never going to criticise. I'm not like, if his ambitions are as big as anyone's in the world and he's our owner, I'm proud. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's what I want. I can't sit here and say, oh no, he needs to tone it down, because I don't want that. I want to follow someone who thinks the sky's the limit. That's why I want to be a high owner, and that's what we've got. And it's too, like we say, we know sometimes it's been a bit too ambitious this year, but he's brave enough and is big enough to rectify it, as we've seen with the appointment of Dye. It's like, I've always said with Marinakis, is one of the few people I feel like in football, he is only solely there for Forest. I don't think it's for personal. I mean, it's personal as in like pride. Like, I want to turn this club around. I want to be that man. But I think his heart is with improving Forest. Like, I'll never ever disagree with that. It might have funny ways of doing things, but it's only through, like you say, wanting the club to be better. So no, he'll always get my backing at the minute until I say anything otherwise.
That's entirely fair enough. Yeah. As for us, that's probably wraps up the show for today. So thank you both for joining me, especially you, Reiss, in your condition. Shall we say, braving through the elements to be here. And obviously Danny, of course, coming on too. We will. I presume we have a few things planned ahead of the Utrecht game on Thursday.
Yeah, Adam's doing a pod with a Utrecht fan. I know that.
Yeah, so obviously that should be. We'll have that out soon. Obviously, again, it's quite nice to have the European games away. Of course, safe travels to everyone, including yourself, Reiss, of course, going out to Utrecht. Those going to Amsterdam, enjoy it. Try and enjoy it by being disciplined, as Neil Warnock would say. And yeah, I think above all else, try and keep safe as you can. Obviously, we know there might be a few issues flagged for Utrecht, but just keep yourself to yourself, be fine. And hopefully it's another great trip for us to write home about, and we'll look forward to reviewing that on Thursday night or Friday morning, depending what's what, and then back at City Ground again next Sunday. So thank you all again for tuning in. Obviously, thanks to everyone in the comments. Thanks to everyone getting involved with Steps on It Thoughts, etc., etc. And yeah, hopefully the next one's with a more positive result. But for all I just want to move on so we can do. But yeah, cheers again all, and yeah, go on your Reds.